Welcome to Java, and thank you kindly for joining me. It's October 27th, 2025. It is Monday, and we've got a massive episode for you. There was quite a bit that happened over this weekend, but there's also a few other things that they're being very quiet about that I would like to bring up kind of toward the end of this. So if you would stay to the end, you might find something a little bit surprising. So, as always, let's get started with what's going on in the markets because the market and the economy are not the same thing. So, we've got the fear greed meter at 33. Now, this has come up quite a bit, even though it's still in fear territory. Last Friday, we left it off at 28. So, this is a significant increase into the risk on territory. So, as we see this morning, we've got Asian stock market deeply in the green, notably Japan, the Nikkei, and we'll talk about why. 10-year yield just above 4.028. We've got these yields rising a bit because money is flowing out of bonds back into risk on assets. So relative strength of the dollar also coming down, and that means also that prices will rise. So those together are pushing stock market. We've got the underlying behind that. We'll talk about that in a moment. We've got cryptocurrencies are up significantly. Bitcoin back above 115,000. And we'll also have XRP on watch. It's got quite a few things that are coming forward as well. So shifting over to the equities, we've got the Nasdaq, S&P 500 and the Dow all poised for positive gains, as well as futures are corroborating with this. Now, as I said, volatility coming down, flowing out of gold. Gold is still above the 4,000 level. So we'll see if it holds it from there. Silver also getting hit because these are safety assets along with bonds. So as long as this one stays above 47.50. So we'll keep an eye on that, and crude oil down a bit. So the daily driver are all of these international deals that are being made on this tour and also through the United States administration. It's bringing down the fear, and if anything, bringing on fear of missing out. So FOMO again. In key, we've got soybeans, rare earth minerals. We've got the Mag 7 earnings coming out, and then also looking forward for the rate cuts. So let's break this down a little bit. We've got the Asian tour that President Trump is on right now. He's already met deals in Malaysia. He has also met with the Emperor of Japan and will be meeting with the Prime Minister as well as several other areas. Now, shifting over to South America, we've got Milei in Argentina, won in elections over the weekend. So that is a lot larger than just the headline because that means that the deal with the United States is on. We'll talk about that a little bit more. So we're still in government shutdown. This is the 27th day. Talking about no issues with this as they're kind of pushing this forward and staying strong with the Republican agenda in that political party. So the end of this week is the first time where many of these that are cut will not get paychecks. So pressure is increasing. The FAA, as I'm saying here, pressure flies, but the planes don't because the FAA is part of this. And the controllers are beginning to not show up for work. We've also got TSA in that same line. So there are a lot of delays, a lot of transport issues, and this is part of the movement to control of movement. So please pay attention to this. It's going to increase going forward. We've got unemployment now is the real factor that are looking for all of these reports that we are no longer getting. They still get, the Federal Reserve still receives every other week they get ADP as well as unemployment claims. So this is why when they come out and they're speaking, they're saying they're seeing few more cracks or whatever they might say as far as unemployment. It's because they're getting these reports they're not talking about and that the public is not getting. So along with more macro news, Carney, Canada, in short, getting snipped. And what this means is that they had an ad come out, and Trump, in retaliation, imposed an additional 10% tariffs and also said negotiations are off. Now, Carney came out and said that they're ready to negotiate at any time, kind of showed his hand there. And Trump turned around and said there will not be any negotiations at this time. So he's busy in Asia with larger things and kind of showing the clout there because of what happened. It's this another negotiation tactic. So we've got the Fed rate cuts this Wednesday. They will cut 25 bits. They have to stay in the rails. So this is what's expected. Anything outside of this will shock the markets. So unless there is something very serious, and indeed it must be, because if they go outside of this and cut more than the 25, then the market will panic that they see something much more ominous on the horizon, and it could spark massive sell-off. So I believe it's going to stick right within those rails. We've also got the USDA with this shutdown saying that the well has run dry, and SNAP benefits, which is the government assistance for the lower income for food, stops in November. So there's going to be massive pressure on the Democratic political party in specific, because those are the ones that, in short, uh, kind of support that side. Now, massive earnings. We've got the big hitters coming in: Meta, Microsoft, and Alphabet, all on Wednesday, along with federal rate cuts. That's going to be a big deal, as well as Amazon, Coinbase, and Apple on Thursday, after quite a few other companies. But this is definitely going to be hit by the Mag 7, which we expect their earnings to be good. The calendar, we're not getting any of these reports. Tuesday, going to get the Case-Shiller Home Price Index and Consumer Confidence. I don't really expect these to be movers of the market, but just want to bring them up. Wednesday, again, going to be the big day between the Fed rate cuts and then also those massive company earnings. So corporate earnings really driving this market. So I'd like to go into a couple of specifics. Palantir just signed a deal that could shift artificial intelligence power balance. They made a deal with Lumen. Lumen is a company that has the bulk of the fiber optic network in the United States as well as abroad. So this kind of is a key tie-in for them. If you will, a monopoly without being exactly so, and just kind of skirting those guidelines, but it puts them in a massive position of power and also opens up control, which I would like to talk about a little bit more. Western Union is shifting to stablecoin powered transfers. Now, I've had this on watch for some time. They are competitively priced at the moment as far as the stock, not financial advice, but they do also offer good dividends. So, taking a look at that, we've got Rumble partnering with Tether, looking at adding Bitcoin tips for content creators. So this could be positive for them, not really looking at that as much. We've got JP Morgan, they had announced this a little bit before, but we're watching the expansion of banks, allowing their clients to borrow against their Bitcoin and Ether. So this is what we're watching: banks shift toward these stablecoins and then also expanding their debt, increasing the debt as they must. This is one more plan they've got in the background to keep this whole thing running. At least it's like oil on the surface of a pool of gasoline and ready for a match to light all of this. However, this is going to push this forward. Now we had Keurig Dr. Pepper. This one is interesting because their earnings said that their earnings were up because the prices increased. However, their volume is down. So this is a warning shot across the real economy, saying that there are still cutbacks. Even though their earnings were good, stock is up, they do have dividends, but in the overall, it was not a very good picture. Now, with all of these deals coming on, I just want to mention that shipping stocks, more deals with China, is what they're looking forward to when the president meets with Xi Jinping. those should do well in this environment. So, something to kind of take a look at. So, I want to look at something in a little bit more broader concept that is going to affect all of us going forward. All of these deals are a bit of a cover for more of the story underneath for the elite. They're not as separate as one would think. These China deals, Russia, the wars, they are all still doing trade under the surface. They are all members of the World Economic Forum, which are the real controllers of everything going on. Now, this group, Summer Davos of 2025, Tianjin is a host city of the World Economic Forum Summer Davos and the annual meeting of the new champions. So, China in on this as they all are with this trade. Now, Trump eyes trade deal after the United States and China reach early consensus in successful talks. What this means is there's pre negotiations. They're still obviously talking if they could come to this point. So we had Treasury Secretary Bessent talking about China delaying the rare earth rules was a major one, and that is a big point that is making the stock market rally this morning, as well as the soybeans. So they have negotiated these deals outside of everything else. Geopolitical uncertainty is kind of a cover. They are, in short, playing the masses. And if you don't realize this, you probably shouldn't be stepping into this too far. You've got to understand how all of this works and how they've got this debt ring continuing because this keeps people roped in. So, very important here. This whole Davos and World Economic Forum. So, let's go on with this. The new World Economic Forum interim. BlackRock's Larry Fink. BlackRock is the largest corporation globally, controlling trillions in assets. So, of course, they're going to put him at the front. And what I want to point out, if you, in case you don't realize it, or for those that are new, the World Economic Forum is simply a group of elites that have decided to get together. They are not elected, they do not represent the people, but they have decided that they can get together and make the decisions for the people because of what the clout they have, if you will. So just keep this in mind. I want to put this in the minds of those that might be new here. If you've been here a while, you know who they are. Now, I just wanted to put this up. Milei winning this Argentina midterm election, it was not alone. And the deals that are being made there, there's quite a bit more behind it, including the rare earth minerals, which also was part of pressure building for some of these other trade deals that are going on. All of the boats getting sent and military that is getting sent off of the coast of Venezuela is also part of all of this agenda, which is going forward for the year 2030. Now, I think everyone has heard that an entire wing of the White House has been demolished in order to build a ballroom. And I just want to post they have listed this is from the White House, from Bloomberg, that they have posted the donors, corporations and individuals and families. Why am I posting this here? Because if you want to see who's going to be getting favors and doing well forward, this is probably going to be a very similar list to this one. So, with all of this, quite a bit to cover. I'm going to be try to be in the Discord a little bit later. This is going to be a big week. So, with everything, I wish you all a wonderful day. Good luck in your trades, and until I see you again, resist.